Today we're going to look at the Liquify function in Photoshop CC 2015. Hey everybody, welcome to Photoshopping. My name is Anita. I am going to show you some Photoshop editing skills so you can edit your own pictures at home like a pro. Have you ever wondered how to lose the 10 pounds that camera has on you? Well, today I'm going to show you a very powerful tool in Photoshop. It is called Liquify. Liquify allows you to add on or shed off some sizes in pictures. Before we start, I downloaded this bikini model picture off the internet. I have no idea who she is, but I think she looks absolutely gorgeous, and honestly, I don't think her picture needs to be retouched or modified in any way. However, her post gives us a perfect example to utilize the liquify function today, so we are going to liquify her. Okay, so here we go. Before you do anything, always make a duplicate copy of the background layer so you won't be messing with the original copy. So all you have to do is to click on the background layer, hit on Command J or Control J, and then you'll have the duplicate layer here. And then you would want to rename this as Liquify. Okay, perfect. Okay, and then now you want to open up the Liquify window. You click on Filter, Liquify, and then this window will open up. There's a list of options on the left-hand side. I'm not going to go through them one by one because some are not as common, but I would definitely go through the ones that are very useful and more common when we use it to modify, human beings' figures. So let's take a look at the first one, Forward Warp Tool. So what this does is, I'm going to show it to you. Okay, so let's take a look at the first option, Forward Warp Tool. I'm going to show you what it does. So if you brush your tablet pen or mouse to the right side, then you can see all the contents are being pushed to the same direction. See, the more strokes that you do to the right side, then the more distorted it will be to the right side. If you brush it back to the left, then it will go to the left. So this function is very useful when it comes to adjusting human being figures. I would strongly suggest you to use a bigger brush. Well, not as big, but about this size, which is about 500, size 500, and using a density level of 72. Pressure at around like 28, then I find that it gives you the best result that you want. Just like this, and then you can make her legs look a little skinnier. Right, just like that. I will come back to this tool in a bit when I do the demonstration. Let's go to the other option, the next option. The second option is Reconstruct Tool. Reconstruct Tool is acting like an eraser. So when you brush it across the part that, I just distorted, then it will bring the image back to the original state. So it's acting exactly like an eraser tool. Perfect. And then the third and fourth tool are not as useful and common, so I'm not going to go into them, but you can always play around with all these functions later on when you have time. The next option is the Pucker Tool. Pucker Tool is another option that I could use when I want to make the model's arms or legs skinnier. the difference between this one and the first one, which is the forward warp tool, is that in this one, when you click on, let's say, this point here, it is bringing all the contents within the circumference to draw it to the middle part. Do you see here? If I press on the pen, then it's bringing the contents, surrounding contents, to just one point, which is the inner point. So if you decide to use this to make the adjustment on your model, make sure that you don't overdo it, because it's very easy to overdo it. That's probably the reason why it's not as common as the forward warp tool button. You could do it lightly, and then it will still give you the same result, but not as great flexibility that you have with the first option. The next button is the Bloat Tool. Bloat Tool does exact opposite of what the Pucker Tool does. So same thing. See, this is the part that I just used the Pucker Tool on to make it more narrow and drawn toward the middle part. So now when I select the Bloat Tool and press on the same part, then you can see that it is bloating. It is spreading her skin, her waist, to outward instead of inward. See? I find this button very useful when I want to give the model's hair some volume. You know, sometimes their hair is, the layer is too thin. It doesn't look as good in pictures. You can always use this bloat tool to bloat the hair layer to give it more volume so it looks better in pictures. Okay, so that's this button. The next one is push left tool. This is very similar to the forward warp tool, but once again, it doesn't work as good because you cannot have as much control as the first button. So I'm not going to go into it, just not too confusing most of you. So now freeze mask tool. Let me just hit on reconstruct tool to bring it back to the original state. Then I will show you what the next two buttons do. Okay, so this is what the original picture looks like. So now let's say I want to make her arms a little skinnier and to give a little more volume in her hair. What I will be doing is I will click on this freeze mask tool and paint on her face. So the part that's being painted will not be affected by any tools. So it's like freezing that certain part that you don't want to change. In my case, I don't want the features on her face to change when I add, do the other adjustments. That's why I painted her face with this button. And now I can use the bloat tool to give her hair a little more volume. See? I can give her hair a little more volume just like this. Just pressing on it lightly. Nice. So now this looks good. And now maybe I want to adjust a little bit on her arms and legs to make it a little bit skinnier. So you can see how these functions work on her. So I am adjusting the brush size to about 315. Density remains in the range of 70s, and pressure remains in the range of 20s. So now I'm going to push her arm slightly to the right, and then I'm going to make the brush size smaller to push the inner side of the arm outward to make it a little smaller and more proportional. And then I want to do the same thing on this side, just to push it. Whoops, that's a little too much. Just to push it a little bit That was a little too much. Oh, by the way, if you want to undo your last action, the shortcut is Control Z. That's very handy and useful when you want to erase something. Oops. Okay, and now I just want to make her arms a little bit thinner. Not too much, just a little bit. And then make the brush smaller to do the inner part and spreading it out. Whoops, that dent is a little too much. That actually doesn't look good. Let's do it a little bigger so it's not applying as much pressure on it. Okay. So now it looks good. That's what I want. And now I want to unpaint this mask just to thaw it. That's why you have to select the Thaw Mask tool. Then you just grab and paint the face, and ta-da! The face did not change a bit, but I gave her hair more volume, and I have adjusted her limbs a little bit. Then you just have to click on OK. So this is the before, after, before, after, before, after, like that. Okay, so that's it for today. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave me a comment below. I will try my best to answer as many questions as possible. And if you want to learn more Photoshop editing technique, please subscribe to my channel. I will be posting more videos in the next few weeks. So stay tuned. See you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.